As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Say hello to my little friend.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
I tell you, these guys really know how to act up. Who are these guys?
You are now tuned in to the Actin Up Podcast.
Hey. What up?
What's good, Embezzle? It's your boy Cisco Reyes, and we got Malik Barnhart in the house.
What's going on?
We got another edition of the Actin Up Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate the love and everything that you guys have been showing us on Instagram, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple,
Yo,
iTunes,
Cisco, they ain't showed us no love
man.
on the CashApp yet. They ain't showed us no love on the
CashApp, man. What's up with that, yo? I know y'all got y'all stimulus checks. Come on, man.
Come on, people.
Sco dollars. Send me. Yeah, man. No, but for real though, you know, we appreciate all of you for subscribing and always tuning in. It's nothing but love, and we appreciate. We're new to this whole game. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. And Malik can contest to this. We didn't go in quarantine and say, oh, well, we got to start a podcast, you know what I mean, because we're in quarantine. This wasn't like a spur of the moment, fly-by-night thing, just idea that we decided to do and hop on the podcast bandwagon. We've actually been talking about this, as you can contest to, Malik, you know what I mean, for
sure.
over a year.
Over a year, yeah.
I think and anybody out there that's trying to start one, I think maybe you can relate to this, is that we talked ourselves out of it quite a few times because we thought it was harder than it was. And because we're filmmakers, we wanted everything to be tight, right? You know
Perfect.
what I mean? Equipment, cameras, we shooting in 4K, you know what I mean? We wanted to do it all. We just didn't want to. We did. Now, don't get it twisted. Didn't we try on our phones at one time, Malik?
Yeah, we tried.
I mean? Cody.
Didn't work out so well.
Yeah, now, you know what it was? We tried on our phone. I had Malik on his phone and I was on my phone, but the problem is we were in the same room. So when we listened to the recording, it was echoing, you know what I mean? So Malik was echoing, I was echoing, but
Yo, Cisco.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on? It's like, hey, what the fuck? But it's a shame because it was a good, you know, it was a good podcast. At least you know, we thought so. And
yeah.
we started off on, not started off, but we are on Anchor, and that's a great place to start your podcast. They'll distribute your podcast everywhere on all the platforms. You just you put it down there, and then they shoot it out to everywhere. And you know, so they show you how to do it. But you know, we were green, and you know, and of course, we wanted to come out the gate like, you know, Jesus and Nero on Showtime. We wanted to come out like Drink Champs, Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? We're like, we're not gonna play ourselves and just, you know, be doing some whack shit. So, you know,
but you know what? Like anything else, you have to start from ground zero and slowly build your way up.
You gotta walk before you can crawl. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute.
Oh. You know why I said that? It's because my son, who's 8 months old, be trying to walk before he crawl. That's all I be thinking about. Like, he really think he gonna walk before he crawl, but he finally mastering the crawling thing. He's like a remote control car. He's everywhere.
I was on the phone with you the other day, and he was climbing up the stairs. That was his first time.
Last week, I turned around and he was on the second stairs. Stairs, yo. I was like, I was so amazed. I took him back off, and then I wanted to see him do it again. And then after that, I was like, all right, that's enough. You know what I mean? You're gonna break something, and I don't want to bring you to the hospital during COVID-19 pandemic.
Nah, you definitely don't want to do that. No.
So I see. It's nice and sunny where you at, Malik. Man, it's
yeah. I'm at the balcony studios out here. You know what I'm saying? It's nice and sunny out here. You got people walking by with no masks, bikinis. All kind of workout gear. It's crazy out here. It's crazy.
People walking
LA,
by
baby,
with no mask and bikinis where Malik's at, yo. Like, this is California. But you know what? People were getting mad at people in New York for being in Central Park, and they just out there like it's a regular day. And, somebody was posting like, yo, all these black people are getting harassed for not wearing masks or for having a cigarette or jogging. Hey, justice for Ahmaud. You know what I mean? Let's keep that going. Because, that was a senseless killing by just basically two white supremacists. You know what I mean? And even if they weren't white supremacists, like, that's some real, just like, oh, he fit the description. I guess we all do. Man, it's a crazy world we're living in, bro.
It's a crazy world, because I just got finished telling you they called the cops on me just walking in my own neighborhood. So I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones, because in California you can't just pull out straps and shoot people, kill people, and get away with it so easily out here.
The only difference is that you need a permit to get a gun. Out there, everybody stays strapped.
Everybody stay strapped. You got to be careful out there. I don't think I could live in the South just because my mentality and my big mouth. I probably it wouldn't be a good place for me. But I've been going through this harassment, I feel like, my whole life. When I was 11, I was in Florida, and they was like, "Nigger, go back to Niggerville." I was like, "What is this?" And it's just been on and on and on. And now, I mean, I'm in my high 40s and I'm still going through it. So, we definitely need to see some real justice. And it's not, I don't know,
It's crazy because the dude who did it is a retired cop. You know what I mean? So he got the police he still has the police on his side. He hasn't even been charged. Like, don't you get charged and then they find out whether or not it was. But regardless, you can't claim self-defense with no weapon. You can't claim self-defense on a citizen's arrest. Like, if that dude turned around and had his own piece on him and shot them and killed them, it would be a wrap.
He'd be in jail right now. Yeah.
Oh, he'd be.
Let's keep it 1,000. When you white, you innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
And everybody else is reverse.
Yeah, I mean, and then who was the person that was filming, that was following the whole incident? It's almost like it seemed like what made them film, because they were already stopped up above. You know what I mean? I think they were communicating, yo. And
I thought it was the police at first, with the scanner thing. I thought it was the police, but I think it was a civilian. And maybe they started recording because they seen two white guys, one with a shotgun and one with a handgun on the back of a truck. So maybe
I don't know. He was recording as he drove up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As homie was still jogging. He was already recording. The only thing I can think of that it was, how Uber drivers always are, sometimes are always recording while they riding around. Right. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can think of, man. But I mean, it's a shame, man. Like, it's 2020 and this is no different than 1920, 30, 40, 50, 60. You know what I mean?
It was a visual lynching, no different than the past. So, I mean, the one thing I think that we can do to start is stick together. Is kind of stick together. Stop beefing with each other. Stop killing each other. That's number one.
Yeah, that's their biggest defense. When we talk about how often Black and brown people die at the hands of white people, they turn around and say, but you guys kill each other more than we do. What does that got to do with it, yo? Mm-hmm. I think that's a different kind of killing. We're not killing each other. Like, it's like a reason territory. It's stupid reasons. Mm-hmm. Every reason to kill somebody is a stupid reason. You know what I mean? Beefing, territory, drugs, money, revenge, love, but racism? Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens between the gang members with the Mexican gangs and the Latin gangs and the black gangs, you know, but not like the way they just do it and get away with it. It's like it's nothing. I mean, there was a video. I mean, they did shoot the guy by the end of the video. But did you see that one where there was a white guy? He was on the street. He had a gun.
That was in Jersey.
And they were just standing their ground, like, drop the gun.
They were giving him an opportunity to live, and he didn't want the opportunity. So he took the latter.
That's exact. They gave him an opportunity to live that they don't give us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's
there's a new
right
video
there.
that I seen today on Instagram, and it's a guy, he's filming himself, and he's screaming for help. Somebody, please come help me. And he's being chased by the police. He jumps out the car. It looks like he just got on a pair of, I don't know, some underwear, no shirt, no pants, and he's running. And then you hear shots, and you don't see anything anymore. And then a few minutes later or seconds later, you hear the police saying, "Oh yeah, this won't need an open casket." You know, that's a new one that I've seen. I don't know all the details, but I witnessed that on Instagram. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy because at the rate that they're doing it, you know what I mean? Like, I think within the past week, I've seen at least 5 new videos of police killing or beating the hell out of somebody, yo. I mean, dude with his hands behind his back, bow, 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 just beating the shit out of him. I think that was LAPD. Then you got NYPD with the dude already on the ground. They got three big ass white dudes with knees in his back, and they just bow, bow, and they recording. This is how ill it is. They don't care if they're being recorded anymore. They don't care. You know what I mean? Record me, sure. I'm still gonna do it. Like they're doing it with the intention of, I'm gonna get off anyway. Doesn't matter if you record this, post this to Facebook, Instagram. Millions of people see it and are outraged, and I'm clearly wrong. I'm gonna get off. I'm getting it. They got this God mentality, this complex, like they gods, because the people in charge are like, slap on the wrist. Oh yeah. There was definitely reason for him to be fearing for his life. I mean, when you just getting off a few pop shots. I mean, there was another one, a teenage kid. And he was just wailing on this little kid, treating him like a rag doll.
Right.
Like, it was like, yo, really? Like, this kid had to be like a $105 wet. You know what I mean? And he just going off on him. It doesn't matter how many movies we make, how many protests. You see their protests. Mm-hmm. Their protests require arms, machine guns, heavy assault rifles loaded on state capitol grounds and busting into the spot. Man, listen, that would have been the National Guard called on a Black Lives Matter, armed Black Lives Matter. We don't even be armed and they scared.
And it's supposed to be an American right to bear arms, but those rights only appeal to whites. Only appeal to the Caucasians in this country. If you look like me or look like you and you bearing arms at a Capitol building,
we're a threat.
There'll be capital punishment ASAP on the spot.
On the spot. Yeah. I mean, they ain't no releasing the dogs. They're gonna throw some tear gas in there and then it's gonna start popping shots. They just gonna start anybody they feel is a threat, they shooting. You know what I mean? And that's everybody. They just gonna spray up the crowd. But there, oh no. Why? Because they felt like there was competition. You know what I mean? Like those guys they had some real weaponry up in those. And you're complaining about staying at home.
I heard it somewhere before where they say white cops, when they're dealing with a white person, a suspect, they see themselves or they see their brother when they're looking at someone that's a suspect that looks like them. And the only difference is with Latino and black cops, they are totally committed to blue and they don't always see themselves when they see a suspect that looks like them, that's from their culture or whatever. And that's a big, big problem. We have to have some type of empathy for people who are not related to us directly, and know that, okay, we look alike, we look the same. All right, let me hear this person out. Let's take this back. Now, being a police officer is a dangerous job, right? But you signed up for it. I didn't. So, don't be so scared. You know what I mean? If you're that way, you need another field. You need another job, because you can't just go shooting. And they shoot to kill. They don't shoot for a leg wound.
No, they don't shoot for the body. They no. I mean, if they do, they shoot for the heart.
Yeah, they're hard in the head.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? That, like, you telling me I get shot in the kneecap, I'm a threat anymore? And then, and what's crazy is the last video I saw where he shot the kid in the park. The kid was running away. He shot him in the back. Dude fell. And then he yelled as he ran up to him, "Put your hands behind your back." The kid's clearly, like, basically dead. And then he puts his knee in his back where he shot him, cuffs him, and now sits there and acts like he's frightened. Right. It's like, it's
crazy.
The dude's dead. What are you scared of? You know what I mean? Like, these cops, it starts with the training. And yeah, they are loyal to their boys in blue gang. You know what I mean? Black and brown cops are no longer black and brown people. They're cops. They're people. They're police officers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they look at white cops as family. You know what I mean? White cops look at white assailants and alleged, perps as potential family members. So let me give you a chance to go home to your family. They look at black and brown as, nah, you a threat. You a menace to society. I need to get rid of you anyway. I need to get rid of you regardless.
Right.
One less of you on the street.
Oh, he's just a casualty. He's just a casualty, yeah.
Casualty of war. And on top of that, they shooting to kill, because if you live, you get to tell your story. You know? So there's no dead man tells no tales.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me make sure I shoot to kill you. Whether it's a female, a little kid, no matter what it is, let me shoot to kill. Because now
it is unfortunate, because, we created this podcast to, have, good energy, light, jokes and all the fun stuff. And we dealing with this pandemic, then we dealing with death, we dealing with crooked police officers, crooked civilians, white civilians, you know what I mean? And they changing the whole focus of what we're trying to do, because we have to speak about it, because people are being affected. I'm affected. Ahmad, he wasn't a friend of mine, but I mean,
he could be you.
It
could have been you.
It could have been me. Earlier in the week. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this shit, man, and people say it has to stop. It has to stop. I think that there has to be a change, because I think that the only people that are scared are our people. I don't think that white people are scared. In no means, no way. I used to believe that as a kid, but that is a falsehood.
What are they scared of? You know what I mean? Honestly, I know what they scared of. They scared of losing their legacy, like we talked about on the Naomi McDougal-Jones episode. They scared of losing their legacy because, their daughters are dating black dudes. So now their offspring are becoming mixed. Mm-hmm. And then their sons are, listening to hip hop. They embracing the culture, or they're becoming culture vultures, and they see their entire legacy, their race being demolished. And then on top of that, white women, the reason why they want to ban abortion is because white women are more likely to have an abortion than black women. You mean a miscarriage? No.
Maybe they're not carrying because, black and brown, we have babies, we can blink and have two kids at once.
Right.
I mean, we don't have a problem with, procreating, you know what I'm saying? But I do know that a large percentage of white women they run into complications a lot. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I get what you're saying. Like, but
if they're choosing to get rid of their baby, there's not a chance for the white population to repopulate.
I don't think,
you know what I mean?
Trying to get rid of no babies. They, I'm
keeping it. Oh, and we talking about all those white girls in college that be having sex with fraternity dudes, unprotected sex. They get pregnant left and right, bruh. You know what I mean? And they got the money to just be like, boop. You know what I mean? Show up, get that done. There's white girls that had 3 abortions before they even finished college. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Black and Latino, but it's in the white person's best interest for a Black and brown woman to have an abortion. So that's just not another Black baby being born. But they need white women to have their babies. These old white men are like, yo, we're about to be the minority. I mean, they basically are, Right. So
I teach my kids, I do not hate white people. No. But racists and people that are against me or hate me because the way I look or anything like that, then the feeling is mutual. We can get it on anytime. You know what I mean? But I don't spew out that hate because of what a lot of white folks have helped me in my journey, in my career, in my life. And those are my friends, and I love them and they love me. So I understand that there is a balance and I think that when we get lost, some of the people that help me, some of the people that help me, of course I know what they look like, right? And then you have people that look like some of the people that help me who totally hate everything that I stand for, who totally criminalize me as soon as they see me.
And they don't know you.
That is a very right. And that's what keep it really confusing. You know what I mean? That's what keep the confusion out there. So what I choose to do is deal with people on an individual basis. Individually, How do you feel about me and how do I feel about you? I can't judge you if I don't know you. I can judge you a little bit, but I can't really criminalize you if I don't know you. And that's how I stick to that script. Right.
And I don't some of my best friends are white.
I got a color TV.
Some of the people that sign my paychecks are white. I love them. You know what I mean? Some people on my IG are white right now. Nah, it's like, I got no problem with. I love all the races. I just don't. If like you said,
you love races. Let's go.
If you don't like me,
he didn't catch that.
I caught that. I didn't want to touch it. You don't like me, I don't like you. You know what I mean? Or I just don't. I'm not going to bother with you. I'm not going to put my thought into you. But I can't lie. When you see these videos, you do leave watching that video feeling a certain type of way, especially towards the cops. And then now we seeing Ahmad, and he's seeing that these are just, they weren't even, you guys are neighborhood patrol?
Right.
So 2 George Zimmermans about to get off again.
And someone said this about a lot of the influential people who speak on this stuff. They said, listen, you people got money. You can make things happen. You quick to have a beef with this one and that one. Go on Instagram, say you'll kill this one and kill that one. But George Zimmerman is at ShopRite right now getting a quart of milk. I mean, and honestly, we can't promote violence, but I wouldn't be mad if a couple things happened this weekend. But we don't promote violence. But I wouldn't be upset because you know what? Sometimes we have to put the mirror up and show the reflection. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that Black and brown people, for the most part, are non-violent people. We do want to, we want equal opportunity, want a chance to live a good lifestyle.
We fed up, basically. It's like we're tired of constantly being taken advantage of whether it's in the workplace, in society, in, no matter what that is, and underrepresented. When really they squeeze us dry like a like a plum in an orange until they get everything they want, and then they just toss us out. And it's like, yo, man, when are we gonna live? When are we gonna get to win?
Now, the thing, you said something there, because the thing about it is what you said about a black and brown, especially in LA, having beefs here and there. For the most part, there is no beef, but sometimes things happen in the past. We know about that. But those things were erupted from other things. You talking about white folks killing black folks and brown folks just because it's a nice day outside. You know what I mean? Not because they have a personal beef with that person. It's a difference. That's a big difference. Yeah. You know, it's a huge difference.
And then also, like, you know, the youth does a lot of stupid things that, you know, everybody pays for, and it trickles down into, you know, the families and the community where they have actions where they don't think about that affects everybody. And that's pretty whack, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the gang mentality, and that's also, you know, the kind of stuff that we talked about before. But there's a difference between racism and stupidity. You know what I mean? It's like clear, blatant. I saw a black man run through my neighborhood. He has to be the black guy. It's easy to say. It's always easy to say, there's been break-ins. Now, let me ask you something. There's been break-ins, but has there been murders? There's one thing if it's a Summer of Sam and there's been a serial killer killing everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, and this guy looks like this, and now we got to get him. You know what I mean? I might even join that hunt. You know what I mean?
I like to say there's a difference. I like to say there's a difference between prejudging and racism, because I can prejudge you. That doesn't mean I'm taking action. I can look at you and say, oh, he looks like an asshole, right? But that doesn't mean I'm treating you any kind of way. Then I could get to know you and say, you know what? I was wrong, or I was right.
Or even tell them at the end of your conversation, be like, yo, I can't lie. When I first met you, I kind of thought you were an asshole.
Right.
But it was just because of the way you look. Maybe it's that little tiny mustache you got. I don't know.
But racism is strictly like, I won't even deal with you if you're not from my creed. And I think that is just ass backwards. I mean, come on. Let's get over that shit.
I mean, they don't like Jews. They don't like Asians. They don't like females. They don't like blacks, browns. I mean, but they need them. And they sit there in front of their TV and they sit there and be entertained by them. God, dang, that black guy can jump.
But I think, you just said something. I think that the Jews, the brown people, the black people, all the minorities should really, if we all came together, and this is the tricky part, because that's why I say this is such it's one of those things where damn if you do, damn if you don't, because you got some Jews who kind of act like a racist white man, and you got some blacks who act like a racist white man. You got some Latins, brown people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if everybody could if those minorities, if we could come and form as one alliance, oh boy, things would really take a turn. You know that.
Oh yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, what's really going to take a turn is if there's if nothing happens, if justice isn't served to these people, you know what I mean, for Ahmaud, it might potentially turn into a riot, because for one, you got people who've been stuck in the house. They've been stuck in the house, and you know they've been looking at all these videos. They got all this bent up energy. They got all this, you know, anxiety going on, you know, and this is just a recipe for disaster, yo. Honestly, it ain't no different than why those white guys killed him. They've been stuck in the house, and then they've been wanting to release some of that energy on somebody, that negative energy on somebody, and they found that person, and unfortunately, it was him.
I was watching a documentary, and it was about some part of Alaska where you don't have to have a registered gun. You could pick up a pistol up off the street and you can put it on your waist. It's like that in that town. And they said they have everybody has respect for each other because everybody is carrying. But it's a catch-22 to that, because a lot of times people have these guns in the house, and they have these guns, and they can't wait for any opportune time is a time to use it. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big problem too, as well. That's a big problem. I think, you know, the whole gun shit is a big problem, but we can't fix that now. I mean, there's 600 million guns in America right now. You know,
Right.
You can't change that. But at the same time, I believe that the empire has to strike back
I
for
like
people
that.
to wake up. I think so, man. I think so. I don't think so. I know so. I mean, everybody. We have to say, okay, now this is an even playing field. If you do me, I'm gonna do you, and this is how it's gonna be. And nobody will want that static. You know,
Right. Yeah. Nah.
What happened to your headphones?
You know what? I'm on live, and I feel like I was being selfish with the conversation on to the people online because they were just hearing my side. They weren't hearing what you got to say. You know what I mean?
Live?
So,
what up, live?
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to give them a chance to get in on the conversation, even though I know they know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? So
You should have them ask some
that's what all that
questions.
movement was for.
You should have them ask. You should have them ask some questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely we got a few people on here, man, and they you know they supporting the Actin Up Podcast.
Because initially you wanted to talk about making an independent film or a short film or something like that, right?
Well, yeah, initially I wanted to get on here and you know, because the two of us, we're always talking about, you know, people are saying, you know, you guys, if you're an artist right now, you need to take advantage of this time, or just even before this time to get out there and make your own product, your own, if you want to be seen in a different light, go out there and film something that's going to make you be seen in a different light, write something, you know, take advantage of all these different things and expand your repertoire as an artist. Just don't be an actor waiting for the phone to ring, you know? So initially I wanted to talk about the short movie that you made over in Geneva, a whole nother country. And, you know, and then, you know, I shot two pilots of scripts that I wrote, and, you know, I'm shopping them around and, you know, making traction. But you know what? I think that's going to be a great another show, because I think we needed to shine some light on this issue that's going on. I mean, I know we usually talk about, you know, stuff that's happening in the industry, but I think this affects us all. And, you know, something needs to be, like you said, everybody says something needs to be done. But if they don't get justice, if those dudes don't go down for this crime, then there's going to be some serious, it's going to be more than people dying from COVID. Unfortunately, I mean, I ain't setting no threats out there. I'm just saying history has a habit of repeating itself. So let's just keep it real, you know, and you can't just keep on doing this and expecting it to be okay. Because now these aren't cops. These are, it might be a retired cop. That doesn't make it okay. You know, does not make it okay. So, you know, I think sometimes we need to like really step out of Hollywood and shine light on what's going on in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, I had my experiences as a kid, as a young adult, still having experiences now. And it didn't make me hate, but it definitely put a lot of anger and hostility inside my veins, for sure. Anybody who disrespects me, that could be white or something other, I always stand my ground very aggressively, but authoritatively, with my voice first, before, you know, anything fisticuffs. I always have to let them know, and I let them know in an intelligent way as much as possible, because I'm a smart guy, but I also can be an ignorant nigger if that's what you want to see, you know. And, you know, we have to understand that there's only so much people can take of when it comes to oppression. Something will happen. And when that something happens, don't cry. You can't go crying now.
The pot's gonna bubble over sooner or later.
Yeah.
You can't just let it sit there and think that everything's gonna be simmering and be cool, and everybody's gonna be hunky dory, you know, praying, oh Lord Jesus. No, I mean, there's people that are gonna be, that take the Martin Luther King route, And then there's going to be the Malcolm X route by any means necessary. And you know what? Like it's probably getting to that point because they have not addressed any of the things that have been going on in this world that have been affecting Black and brown people. They act like it's not there. They say, hey, get over it. They really be on some really like non-sympathetic, like, man, you guys still complaining? Y'all still complaining? Y'all still talking about Trayvon? Gosh, get over it.
Man, that was old. That was before, man.
That was years ago, man.
You're right.
You know, that's like what Trump be doing. Like, y'all still talking about what my sexual indiscretions from 4 years ago? Oh, man, those have been settled. Now, let's talk about Biden's, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way they are. They sweep they shit under the rug like it's no big deal. And then we just, like, it's never been addressed. I mean, if anybody's been in a relationship with a female, you know, if you have never addressed the issues she's gotten, no matter if she stops talking about it for a whole year, it's still in the front of her head. She's still like, but we never,
not in the back.
We never squared that away. So we still need to talk about that.
Yeah, man. We laugh about it, but we're not laughing about it. You know,
no, not at all, not at all.
And I know, like, my mom, she was always scared for me because I've always been this way. I've always been a fighter. You know what I mean? When somebody, like, you know, showed a little transgression. And I think it's a good thing. See, I ran away from home when I was 15. I ran away from home. I cut grass until I made enough money, and my brother took me to the Greyhound station. I caught the bus back to Newark, and I never came back because I couldn't take the racism. It was just too much. I'll be around 4 or 5 my black friends, and a white dude will say, or call me a nigger, and I'll be like, let's get him. And they'd be like, well, he didn't call me a nigger, he called you. You know, and I just the mentality was just, I just couldn't deal with it. It was a true culture shock. And I just think that, like, I'll say it again, I think that Black, brown, and and let's not forget about this, Cisco, because this is very important. You get a lot of white foreigners that come to America and they pick a side. They all of a sudden they become white Anglo-Saxon, you know, racist. Let's not get that fucked up. You know what I mean? Because just because you look white don't make you Caucasian, doesn't make you Anglo-Saxon, you know, Protestant. And that's a big problem. That's a huge problem. And I think that if we can all come together collectively, the minorities, we would not have this problem.
Right.
It wouldn't be an epidemic.
Man, you know what? We're going to leave it on that note, bro. You know what I mean? We appreciate you guys for constantly tuning in to the Actin Up Podcast. We wanted to bring it down a little bit and get a little serious with you because, you know, there's definitely some issues that need to be addressed. You guys can always check out Actin Up Podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, Anchors, iTunes, everything. I'm Cisco Reyes. You can catch me at Cisco Reyes, CISCOREYES, and
Malik Barnhart, Malik. I sometimes forget how to spell my name. Cisco, BARNHARDT. And you know what? What's that Cash App you got over there, Cisco? You got a Cash App?
Sco Dollars, baby. SCODOLLAS. Sco Dollars. Yeah.
And Cash App Malik Barnhart, at Malik Barnhart. We always taking donations, man. Hey, Cisco, I miss you, man. I want to give you a hug already. I miss you.
Hey, stay 6 feet.
Hey,
give you a pound.
Baby for me.
Give you a pound, bro.
For me. One love.
Hey, yo, it's the Actin Up Podcast. Peace out.
Yeah, one.